three questions really started me on my journey. The three questions were, do you believe that abortion is morally wrong? About 85.5% of blacks polled 16 years ago said yes, that abortion was morally wrong. The next question they asked them was, do you believe that homosexuality was morally wrong? The exact same response. 85.5% of blacks polled said that homosexuality was morally wrong. The last question they asked them was, in the upcoming election, which one of the two candidates you were going to vote for? And 95% of those blacks polled were going to vote for the candidate that was pro-homosexual rights and pro-abortion. And I said, God, this makes no sense. What's going on? Let me tell you now the latest statistics. The one race of people that has always been more against gay rights than any other race of people have been African Americans. You guys remember a number of years ago when they had that referendum in California to make gay marriage legal. It was the black vote that brought that down. But this year is the first time ever that 52% of blacks now in the nation are for gay marriage. So in 16 years, we have seen this change where 85.5% of blacks were saying it was morally wrong, and now you got 52% that are in favor of gay marriage. Now, to me, that's a result of two things. You're seeing the older generation begin to die off, and the younger generation has been fooled into thinking, because they're starting you guys now in kindergarten, it's in grammar school, it's in high school, and it's in college. And when kids come out of college, they think these things are all right. They don't understand that in a nation, there is a cause and an effect. I'm always talking on the radio station. I hear everything about things politically. I said, but the one thing you guys don't take into account is how this affects the nation spiritually. That God doesn't just sit up and judge all the sins on the earth, but in politics, because we say there's a separation of church and state, God does not judge that either. God judges nations. And there is a cause and an effect for everything that we do. We are killing in this nation every day 3,000 to 4,000 babies a day. There is a spiritual law that cannot be broken. It's called the law of sowing and reaping. It says, whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. In this nation, we have been sowing seeds of death. 3,000 to 4,000 babies a day. So if you're sowing seeds of death, what are you going to reap? See, we don't understand the cause and effect. I look at the big thing. I look at the big picture on this particular thing. You guys, this next election, you've heard this before, but I'm telling you, this election is so crucial. This election is crucial because another thing that you have to understand, and like I said, in my reading of the Bible and God showing me things, God judges a nation by its king. If you don't believe me, go and do your own study in 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings. These are the books that chronicle the kings and rulers of Israel and Judah. You will find one thing. You will find that whenever a king was unrighteous and he led people to unrighteous things, the people to unrighteous things, there was curses that came upon the nation. But when the king was righteous, there was blessings that came upon the nation. You guys, President Obama, the first time he ran, I called him the Enigma because nobody knew. But God has shown. The light of God has shown. He says he's for gay marriage. He is for killing babies in the womb by the thousands. He had 3 opportunities as when he was a senator in Illinois to stop partial birth abortion and to also, if a baby survived an abortion, that they would be able to get medical care. He vetoed that 2 or 3 times while he was in office. In the party's platform, when they took God out of the platform and not wanting to support Israel, I know they put it back in, but their heart had already spoken. And so here it is. God has shown us who this man is. And God says, and when I asked God one time, I said, Lord, why? Why do you judge the whole nation by the king, by the president, by the prime minister? He said because especially in this nation, he said that when the people can choose, he said, I always reveal the heart of a man before people vote on him. And he said the majority of the people will vote for a wicked man or a wicked woman. He said that represents the heart of the nation. And so my judgment or my blessing comes upon that. This election is so important. And so the reason why I got this thing together here today is because I used to be the co-leader of the Montgomery Tea Party up until about 4 months ago. And I remember I was always on the radio inviting people to come to the Tea Party. And when blacks would come, I remember they would walk in and they would literally be afraid to walk in. I'd see people tipping in. And there's a fear factor, you guys. There's a fear factor of the young Republicans, the college Republicans, to go engage. And there's a fear factor for you guys to come in here and share ideas. The Bible says that the Word of God is for reproof, correction, right? You guys, we got to have dialogue. We got to have dialogue. Most of you, especially probably the African Americans in here, do not know the history of the Republican Party. It's a grand history, especially in its relationship to black people. It has always been the pro-black party. Most of y'all don't know that. It started off as being the abolitionist party. It was against slavery. It was the party that fought for 100 years for you to get to have many of the rights that you have today. You guys need to do more fact-finding, more searching, and looking into this. But I believe, and talking to many of you that came today because I asked you to come, that you have a lot in common with these people sitting right here. But you don't know it because you don't talk. And so what this is today is for you guys to have dialogue. I invited a lot of African Americans to be here today. There's a couple of Hispanics here today. And what I want you to do is I want you guys to dialogue. Any questions you have to these people, why they're Republicans, what they stand for. Even if it's things that you don't like or you perceive that you didn't like and you heard this, let's get it out in the open, you guys. Let's get this thing out in the open. The Bible calls Satan the prince of darkness. He can only control a thing that's in the dark. When you come out of the dark and bring it to the light, there's freedom. There's understanding. We need to have dialogue. This is the first thing. We're breaking ground today, you guys. This is the first thing. This is my heart. This is my burden that God has given me. This is my burden. Because I see my people.